really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard. Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Welcome to the show. Today, I'm talking more politics because I'm concerned about what you think politics is about, what you know it is about, and what you should do about ensuring that you get the kind of leaders that you want, and that includes me. Now, I have two people who are running for office now, young people, not the ones that we're used to, not the usual. And I have one person who was part of the communication and strategy for one successful election that didn't quite go the way it should be. Now, why do I have these three in the house? Simply because I want you to see what the process is like, what it takes to be a politician, and why you must be involved. Welcome. We'll be back in a short while if you don't go away. Yes, I have a guy and two ladies. Now, in deciding to start with a guy, the two ladies felt I was being gender insensitive. But I started with him because he was actually the instigator for this session of the program I'm running. Because I was sitting quietly, having drinks with my husband after work at a restaurant in Lagos. And then somebody walks and says, "Hello, hi, my name is Obafemi George. I'm running for Etiosa local government chairman." I'm like, what? So it's my pleasure to introduce to you today, hi, why don't you introduce yourself like you usually do? I mean, it's more fun,
My name is Obafemi George.
I found out that you're a political science graduate up to the master's level.
Absolutely.
You are a real estate you're in a real estate business. You have a family, you have kids, and then you get up one day and say, I am going to run for politics. Was it a one-day thing for you?
Not at all. It came out of being passionate about Nigeria. I'm sure we're all passionate about Nigeria.
A lot of people are.
And we all complain. We want to see the kind of change that we've all dreamt of. But somewhere we stopped on the level of social media or within the four corners of our bedroom. And what I simply did was that I said, you know what, I need an avenue to let out this passion. So this fateful day, I just drove to where I used to see a signboard of a political party.
You forgot that it was your wife that pushed you.
Yeah, she did. Because she got fed up that, hey, listen, you're going to set the house on fire one day if you go on this way, do something. So I got challenged. So I drove to where I used to see a signboard, somewhere along the Lekki Express Road, ACN in those days. So I made an inquiry.
In those days, how long ago was this? 2009,
to be specific.
Okay.
So they told me that they hold their meetings on Thursday. So the following Thursday, I drove there, I parked, and I sat down with them. That day, I met the councillor representing Ward B, and I started attending the meetings. Of course, initially, they thought that, okay, maybe there's a godfather somewhere that said, oh, before we give you an appointment, you need to be attending the ward meeting. But I just wanted to see the kind of change we've all dreamt of in the community. So I started attending the meetings. And like they say, today, the rest is history.
Now, so at what point did you register to be a member? What does it take to register? What did you have to do? Did you see anybody? And then in running for office, did you have to see anybody?
The starting point...
I don't expect that you tell me all the truth on camera.
The starting point...
Or will you?
I'll try as much as possible.
Okay.
Starting point is to make yourself available. I started attending the meeting. You don't need to be a card-carrying member to start attending the meetings. It's a political party meeting. It's a public meeting. So I joined them. For like 3 months, I was attending. And at some point, they asked me if I wanted to be a member of the party. So I said, of course, I want to be a member. So I was invited to the LGA meeting where I declared openly that I would love to be a member of the party. And that was it. So eventually they got me registered. I became a card-carrying member of the party. And immediately I saw a gap, between governance and the impact on the people. Because when you go for meetings, you meet people with real needs, genuine needs. And
they're asking for things like school fees. Health.
Yes, and not all of them were lying. You could see that there's a real problem here. So what I did was to get 1 or 2 friends together and said, let's see what we can do for people and help them. And so we started doing things for them, and it made such a very huge impact. You know, we started training people, basic skills acquisition programs, fashion designing, hairdressing, shoemaking. They go for a crash program when
This
they're
must
done.
have cost you some money.
It did.
So if you didn't have money, would you have been able to do this?
Well, I wouldn't know, but I had, some change to spare. But I think why that was a little bit easy for me to do was because I've also been running an NGO for a while. So I'm used to community work. I've been used to giving out, giving back to society. So for me, it wasn't a strange thing for me to do.
I find it interesting, though. Did you always know that you would run for office someday? Or when you studied political science, like it's the ultimate, I'm going to go and run and,
Like most Nigerians, when I studied political science, when I went for political science in school, I wanted to do BZMain. And when I couldn't get admission to study BZMain, and I was like, you know what, let me just go and study something and just make sure that I'm a graduate. So I just picked political science. At that point, I had no inkling that one day I was going to end up in a political party or I was going to be running for office. So I went for first degree, came out, worked for a while, started business of my own, and one thing led to the other. I just went back for master's about 3-4 years ago when I'd already started, being actively involved in day-to-day politics.
So why did you need that master's? Do you want to be prepared for elective office?
I believe in personal development, and I believe that things are changing every day. And as an individual, the only way you can get better is to know more. So that was what prompted me to go back for, and that was my second master's.
So why did you choose to run for office at the local level?
Very good question. After I got involved for like 5-6 years, it's one thing to learn things in school, that's theoretical. Now, all the things I've learned in school and the things we've all dissected about Nigeria, when I got involved at politics at the local level, it became so clear to me that if we're going to see a great country, it has to start at the local level. There's a reason why they call it grassroots politics. I say this philosophically that if a tree is sick and you want to cure a tree, you just don't fumigate the leaves, you don't treat the trunks, you go to the roots.
Absolutely.
That is the foundation of everything. So if you're going to get it right as a country, if you're going to see the kind of movement we want to see, then the right people must be in politics at the local government level. At the federal level, we've been able to attract, good brains, either as political appointees or people running for offices. At the state level, we're getting it right. If we use Lagos as an example, we've gotten it right at the state level. And that's why you see a state that is working, because it's a system that thinks like a private sector system. But it's not the same to a large extent at the local government level. There's a wide gap. They're really not interested in politics at that level. And that is where we are today. So for me, when I saw that gap, I suddenly realized that, listen, this is where you can make an impact. This is where I live. This is my community. It won't cost me much to make an impact right on my street. And because I know my neighbor knows his neighbor knows his neighbor, if I come out, I can inspire him and motivate him to get involved. And before you know what's going on, it's a domino effect.
Now I know why your slogan was, it can be done.
It can be done.
But it can be done. So I'll take a break so that I can meet my next guest, and eventually we'll all sit down and talk about this. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
My local government chairman, hopefully.
Thank you.
Because that's where I live.
Thank
So
you.
we'll be right back in a short while.